Hi.
How are ya?
I am good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Are you okay, I just started recording.
Oh my God.
To give you that heads up. You're being recorded. We've got 40 minutes
Oh boy.
to chat and dive in. I thought that if it was two people on Zoom that it was unlimited, but I guess they changed that.
Oh really?
Yeah, it used to be 24 hours or something if it was only two people, and now
Yeah, yeah, they did have that.
they have changed it to 40 minutes. So we're just gonna jump on in because I'm
Okay.
so excited to talk to you.
What made you want to do this? Yeah.
I started a newsletter, just like this little indie film appreciation newsletter at the end of 2022. And it's like very hodgepodge, just kind of things that I like read or videos that I see that inspire me that I was putting together. And towards the end of the year, I was like, I really want to start interviewing people who are making it happen, making films, um, doing the thing. And so I thought, who do I love to talk about and talk about his film, but I was like, there are so many questions that I have for Gazzo that I'm sure other people have, and that I think would be interesting for people to hear and learn more about you. So, um, yeah, I was thinking about the first time that we met, I met you as a photographer,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right? And then the next time I saw you, you were an actor.
Hmm.
And then at the second workshop for Scribblage, and then
Yeah.
I don't know, like a year and a half later, 2 years later, I see Johnny the Dime. And I didn't know that, it was like I knew that
Right.
I think I knew that you were an actor when I met you, you were photographing the workshop, but I think I knew that you were an actor.
That was
But
a fun photograph. The first workshop. That was fun to photograph, actually.
that
That
was
was good.
those pictures looked amazing. That was like a dream come true that we have photographs of those. There's an amazing picture of Ted from that series of,
Oh really?
yeah.
Oh, I'll have to look back.
I think I found them like sometime at the end of last year. I saw them again, and I can't remember. There may be in an email from Tessa or maybe on Google Drive or something, but there's some great pictures from that. It's fun to
Yeah.
revisit that. So what is that like? Where did you like develop the skill set of photography? Did you just kind of grow up? Like, what's your background? What's your artistic journey? How'd you get here?
Oh. Well, photography, it was, I don't know, maybe 2011, 2012, and I just always wanted to do photography, so I just bought one and I said I'm just gonna learn. So I started shooting a lot of stuff. I would shoot like local bands in New York City or Jersey City where I live for free just to get experience.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Is like I'd meet people because I don't really like going to concerts. I just like you're just standing there and it's weird. So many people. So I'm like, oh, if I photograph, that'll be fun. So
Yeah.
that's where I started doing that. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
But
cool.
acting wise, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ever since I was a kid or high school, I did a couple plays in high school, and then I was like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I was also seeing like funny movies. Like I remember seeing Dumb and Dumber and being like, I want to do that and have people laugh and talk about like jokes in the movie for years. Because me and my friends, we still quote stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know, all those little movies, and just like,
Yeah.
be able to do that for somebody to give them something to quote, goof around about, and connect, like that'd be nice.
Oh my gosh. Well, dream come true because my husband and I quote Johnny the Dime all the time. Like
Really?
truly, truly, yeah. I'm trying to remember the one. My husband's favorite line is, oh my gosh, it's when you mix up two words.
Obstacle illusion.
Yes.
That one. That's
Yes.
good.
Oh my gosh, eating my spaghettis. I mean, it's like truly, it's so quotable. It's so funny. So what's your experience with filmmaking prior to Johnny the Dime, or where did that inspiration come from? Had you written anything before?
I had no experience in
Oh my God.
filmmaking. So all that credit goes to Joseph Menzel and the crew
Okay.
for making it what it is. Um, but I'd always kind of, I think it was, I wrote it in 2012, I think. And I was just writing a bunch of monologues, and I have a bunch still in a book. And I wrote it out as a monologue of just this guy thinking, he sees someone as catching his sister. And I was fooling around with this voice, like this New York or New Jersey voice. It's like all my uncles have it. My dad does, my mom a little bit. And so I was smoking a cigarette outside a bathroom window in Jersey City. And then I'm like, what? I was like, oh, they could see into my window. Like they could probably see me changing. I'm like, huh. Like, what would I do if I saw someone catching my sister changing? Like, what would I really do?
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm like, and I was taking Matthew Corzine's class, and it was like talking about like independent activities, something difficult to do,
Mhm.
but you have to do it, but not like, outlandish. And I just kind of took in that idea. I'm like, what if I tricked the guy? And it kind of kept on turning it and turning it until it got into that monologue. I showed it to a friend of mine, and he said, you got to shoot this like one day. And so over the course of 10 years, two different people, we had tried to shoot it, just didn't work.
Mm.
And with the pandemic, and I had that money and talking to David Lambert, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I knew I was just one of those things like, I'm just going to do this. I'm never going to act again. I just got to do this one thing, my little thing, and I'll be
Yeah.
good, you know?
Oh
So
my gosh. Wow. I had no idea. That is so cool. So are the other monologues, are they more like character based as well? Or are any
yeah,
Johnny, or are they all
yeah. I mean, they're all
different?
different than that one, but they are like character based, like a little quirky, a little different. It's not just like, I don't know, like a forlorn person who's like, oh, I'm in love. Like I just don't like, you know what I mean? I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
So like they're trying to make them a little like realistic, not like totally just like that guy's crazy. But like I
Right.
don't know someone like this, but I feel like I know someone who knows someone like this. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
That's how Johnny the Dime feels like that. Like this feels like, I don't know, watching it, I was like, I feel like I know this person. And it's also always fun when you see someone, he's so different from you and watching you
That's
like totally transform into, I feel like a lot of, it's funny, like writing your own parts. I think that some actors forget that like part of the power of that and the fun of that is to do something totally different. So sometimes it's easier to just like write something closer to who you are. And it's, whether or not it's challenging is beside the point. It's really fun to watch you, knowing you, and then to see Johnny the Dime. Like it is just such an outstanding performance.
that's good.
And it's
Yeah,
so different from, I mean, it's just so funny, but he doesn't, and none of that's like, it doesn't feel like you doing a caricature of someone. It's like a
right.
different real person.
Yeah, and I think doing it like it's very easy. And some people I'm sure think this, which is fine. Because sometimes I think like with the New Yorker like shtick thing. Like you ever
Mm,
see those things like movies and they're just like, hey, oh, and I'm like, you don't like talk
yeah,
like
it's not
like
that.
so I wanted to make it like I'm like, he doesn't need to do much. He just needs to speak. And
Yeah.
like I'll like pop off when I feel like I'm popping off. And who cares? Even when I was writing it in my head, I'm like, no one's gonna see this. I'm like, I can do whatever I want. Like that's what I wrote, like the
Yeah.
obscure illusions, spaghetti, all that stuff. I'm just like, I mean, I had a quote something from The Godfather in there. This one line from this radio host called Joe Beningo from like sports radio in like New York. I put a line about the Jets that he always says.
Oh my God.
So just like I just do whatever. Like
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So that was nice.
That is nice because that's, it gives you so much freedom. Like I think once you start, I don't know if you've and we can talk about this in a little bit, what you've got, what you're wanting to do next, what you're working on next. But I feel like once you start writing with filming in mind, then you do start censoring yourself a little bit. And it's good to just like write it as
Yeah,
if, like writing it for yourself. And then you can always go back through and edit it. And okay, I don't have access to 9 different locations. So how can I change this? But to write
right.
the first one just like totally uninhibited, I think that is probably why it's so like, I don't know why it's so touching. Like it's a comedy, but it just is like so real. And I think that hearing that, like that you were just like, no one may ever see this. I think that's the like freest, truest way to write something. So
Yeah, I kind of got lucky because, and you understand this, every time you do something, every time I've done some like weird play in New York City or like some
mm,
short film, like this is gonna be it. It's gonna happen with it, like the break, and it never does. And I've done that to myself like 15 to 20 times. So with this, like that was still there, but it was more like just do a good job, like just do a good job. And so keeping it like a little bit simple kind of helped to be a little bit more loose and not like this has to be perfect, you know.
yeah. And
So
at what point, and I'm asking just because of exactly what you just said, at what point did like you wrote it as a monologue, at what point did Lambo come in as producer? Because that's, I feel like to me, when a producer is on board, that's when I start to go, oh crap, this needs to be absolutely perfect. I like this, everything
yeah,
about this, you know, because then you like then you start feeling like you're doing it, you know, you have someone who's
yeah,
invested.
right. So I've been hanging out with David a while, and I had this script. I'm like, I'm just gonna show it to him, and I did. And the initial monologue was like a mess. Like I had not just like punctuation stuff, but like I repeated certain things like twice, like in the monologue. Like it was just, but he got it. He understood the spirit of it, and
Yeah.
so he's like, I like this. It's about some dumb guinea going blah 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 whatever. And so the biggest thing he did, because I knew I couldn't direct it, because I didn't know anything about film stuff.
Okay.
The best thing was he introduced me to Joseph Menzel, and I didn't know like any film directors. I know a lot of theater directors,
Yeah.
so I just kind of like he had done. I'd seen Joseph's. He had a trailer for a pilot that he did. I'm like, this just looks great. The editing's great. This and that. I'm like, oh. So Joseph took it on. He helped me format the script. So I kind of knew in general the spirit of it. I knew the whole story and the spirit of it, especially him being like not just like, oh, a guy wearing a dress. Like he likes it, but he still can't admit it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
if we get that, we'll be fine. So like Joseph's idea was to shoot it. It was all gonna be voiceover and then just me sneaking around. But Joseph's like, let's shoot it head on. And of
Yeah.
course I was like in my head, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. And then like I talked to other people, they're like, that's what you should do. And he had like moments like that where he just little like gentle, like, let's just tell it. This is a
Mm.
better way to tell the story. And the crew he hired, honestly, that's what made it. I'm not trying to blow smoke, but if I didn't have them, it would have been like, oh, I get what they were trying to do.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
they they really did. If I didn't have them, like John Fitzpatrick, who shot it, like it would have been like a nice try. And that's what I was. I would rather it be bomb or be great, but I don't want to be a nice try. And I'm
Yeah.
sure I'll get that. I mean, I'll have a bomb, I'll have a nice try eventually, but you know what I mean. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, and having, especially on your first film, first experience, like in that arena, I think having other people, because I find I've been trying to, I've been working on editing my web series. And I was like, I need to edit this myself because I need to see what that's like because I don't know how to talk to an editor. So
Yeah,
editing for retreat, I've been like, this thing feels like I've just been using the vaguest terms. And thankfully, you know, we have our DP there and Joe Boyce as well. So it's a team, which I just find so helpful in all of filmmaking because it's that thing. Like I know what my talents are and what my limits are, and I know what I don't. I kind of know what I don't know. And so I would exact same thing. I would, you know, like I have the vision for it, but I definitely need the other people to help actually make that. Because
yeah,
if I try to get it out of my head by myself, it's not going to look like what I'm
yeah.
picturing.
I didn't like the thing is like a lot of the people that Joseph hired. I'm not gonna list them. Like John Fitzpatrick, who shot it, Thomas Chitau, who was the gaffer who did the lights, Justine Bertrand, who did the focus puller. So I didn't even know what she did till 3 months later. Like that's how little I knew.
Yeah.
Matt Leibowitz, who did the sound and did the music for it. Amy Suthers choreographed this one woman, Laura Locasano. She did my makeup.
Wow.
And Will Fortune, who was key, he took pictures, set pictures, but he also colored it. And talking about the language, like
Yeah.
we were trying to, I was trying to tell him what to do. or like it needs to be like brighter or more contrasty. And
Yeah.
there was this whole other language. So
Yeah.
we had this DP James Strassel who was going to shoot it, but then he got a job for HBO and had to go to LA. So it's like kind of cool when you're the guy you first pick at a. So
Yeah.
he hopped on a call with Joseph and I and Will Fortune, and he's like, "Oh, this is what you do. Will, they mean this, they mean that," and he just threw out all these terminology, and Joseph and I were just quiet, and they made it bingo.
Yeah.
And so the people in the room, I'm like, they were just veterans. They had done like thousands of shoots, so it was just another day. And
Yeah.
any problem that came up, they were just like, okay, we'll do this. My only regret was I didn't get more lights for Thomas Attal because they just know what to
Mhm.
do, and they're just like, okay, let's do this. All right, it's not like they're not wide eyed.
Yeah.
So also the camera John Fitzpatrick used was amazing, so that was helpful. But like, and also in terms of editing, Alex McElvey, like that guy, he like what you just said, like not knowing how to put it out there. He did stuff that I'm like, oh, you already did that. I just didn't know how to say it. Like when I repeat the thing twice, like she spits when she talks.
Mhm.
I was like, I want him to do something like where I repeat it. And then the first cut, he was doing that.
Oh
You
my
know, he
gosh.
just knew he just knew the formula of like, okay, this is gonna be funny if I edit it like this and like this and
Yeah.
like this. And like like, man, I got lucky. Like, because they were just like pros. And it's
Yeah.
like even if it's gonna look great at the very least.
Oh my gosh. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
And it is so funny and like such a great story. And it's like the perfect length. Like everything about it. Is it available to stream online anywhere? Because I keep telling
Uh
people to watch it and
no.
I don't know if they actually
I mean,
can.
I can send you a link and they can do it, but like I we can't, we're still doing festivals. We probably have
Okay.
another year left of that, so I can't put it
Did you
out.
say another year left?
Probably. Like
Wow.
it's been actually like a calendar year almost, like a year
Yeah.
since we started the festivals. And so we're having another batch of submissions that we did for December and January, and then I'll probably have a few more. So probably in April or March, we'll probably hear back and be in a couple more.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
Nice, yeah, yeah,
You've gone to a lot of them in person, right?
yeah. I've been to I think five. The
Okay.
first one was Sedona. That was probably the best one.
Yeah.
That's where we first won, so that was just exhilarating.
Yeah.
Yeah, been able to bounce around and meet a lot of people, and like it's been weird. Like it's not, honestly, I thought it'd be every festival would be super pretentious, but like it's very inclusive. Everyone's very nice, and I'm like, oh, like this
Oh,
is not as like snotty as I thought it would be, you
yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
everyone was just like real, like, all right, I'll come to your like. You just watch a bunch of stuff, and it's really like nice. I'm always nervous every time it screens, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a good time.
Yeah. That's so fun. I was gonna ask which your favorite has been so far. Sedona. That's
Sedona,
your favorite.
probably Sedona. There's one in Michigan. Hell, have they were all been like good, and they all like took care of me. And but the ones I've been to were like Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Rochester, New York,
Mm.
uh, Sedona, and I don't know, one other, I forget, Michigan. I think I already said that, but
Oh
it's
wow.
been nice.
Yeah, that's fun. Was there one overseas?
There was
Some
one in Dublin. Yeah, it was like a Dublin International Comedy Short Film Festival. So that was cool. We got nominated. We didn't win, but you know, the
but you
Irish
guys
got nominated.
you've won at several of them.
We won at. I did a count before. We got nominated for six, and we won at three.
And
So I'll
you've
take it.
won, right? Have you won for actor or been
Yeah,
nom?
we won one at one in Jersey City, Brightside Film Festival. We won there, and then Kansas City and Sedona. So it's been fun. It's really nice to win. I mean, let me tell you,
Yeah.
it's not
And
like, oh, glad to be nominated. It's like, no,
it's winning is the way.
yeah, yeah, it's great.
And it's nice that because you've won for best actor, it's won for best comedy short.
Yeah,
Do you have a best director award?
Joseph, to my great anger, hasn't been nominated yet for best director. I feel like I shouldn't say that,
Wow,
but like it's
that's
kind of
amazing.
that bugs me a
Yeah.
lot because the work he did, he has directed a lot of his own things, written and directed. So he knew how to be gentle with like suggestions,
Mm.
and his ego wasn't involved at all. He was just trying to tell a story in a
Wow.
good way. He wasn't like, well, my idea.
Yeah.
Like he'd have an idea, then I'd have an idea, and this happened twice. And then 2 days later, I'd want to do it his way, and he'd want to do it my way. You
Wow.
know, and yeah, that he will win.
Yeah.
He'll win.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
For some reason I thought he had won one because I feel like you guys have, it's good that you like, as an actor and as a writer, like playing both roles for this film, that you've had a win for the film itself and a win for you. I think
Yeah, that has been nice.
that's nice. Do
Yeah.
you, is there, like, did you feel like at the time that you were writing it and wanting to produce it, you said you were like, this might be the last time I ever act. Were you doing it? Was the motivation to act, or was the motivation, I'm obviously it can
Um,
be both, but were you like, oh, I want to star a vehicle for myself, I want to do this character, or were you like, I really like the story, or was it just all of it?
it was kind of like kind of funny because I really haven't acted since then, but but it was mostly just like I just want to tell this story and go a little nuts and like be this character and that's it. I just want to do this for me because I knew the story was like, all right, this is a good story. It's not doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be, but like I think this is a solid like story that can be
Yeah.
told. It works. And so I just wanted to do that, just kind of goof around. And I love playing characters and weirdos and goofballs. And now I'm like, well, now I get to.
Yeah.
So let me just do that.
So moving forward, are you hoping to write more, or like what's or do you still feel connected to that title or role, or are you starting to identify as filmmaker, or how do you label yourself if you're asked to?
Oh, I guess I just say, oh yeah, I do some acting. I write some stuff, and I did a short film. That's like what I say. I don't
Yeah.
like, but I don't know. I guess I've always shied away from like I'm an artist, and like I'm like I don't know. I always feel like an artist is someone who paints, like not someone who I don't know. But that's just a childhood thing. So yeah, I do like write a little. Working on making Johnny the Dime a bigger thing, like slowly, just writing it, just to have it as a feature film, and then there
Yeah.
are 3 other projects, things I'm writing right
Okay.
now. They're in my brain. Yeah, that might take like 5 years to come out, but that's fine. I got time.
Takes however long it takes. Is it, are they all for screen, or are any of them theater?
Oh no, they're all for screen.
Okay. Do
Yeah.
you think now that you've been behind camera some, or I guess you were really on screen the whole time, but
Yeah.
being on set at least and like seeing the process of the film being done, do you have any interest in directing?
Way. Not at all. I just like if it was a theater, I'd be like, yeah, like I want to get
Yeah.
that shot. Film, there's so many moving parts and there's so many like words I don't even know yet that
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't. I've helped out on sets and I can have fun with that. But like directing, I'm just like, there's so much technical bullshit. I'm like, I don't want to learn this. Like, did you know what the word Foley was before you started editing? What's it called? Retreat?
You know what? I was in a dinner theater several years ago, and it was about an old radio show. So within the show there was a Foley artist.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Like, what
But
that they kept on throwing around post production. Finally, I was like, Joseph, what the fuck is Foley? He's just like, oh, it's the extra sound of it. And I'm like, oh, I just don't know stuff, and I don't want to
there
know. I don't want to know.
so many there's a book that we were told to read in college. It was suggested, it wasn't required reading, and it was like, I don't know, like 100 something terms to know on a film set, and I've
Yeah,
never read it. And every day I do that constantly to whoever else is on set using the words. I'm like, I'm gonna need you to break
yeah,
it down.
yeah. I know. So that's why I don't. If I had 2 big training wheels, they'd be like, David, say this, and I'm like, okay, say that. As a director, then I'd do it, like for fun. If there was like no stakes and you know no one else's like money or dreams involved. you know.
That's where it gets, that's where
So
the pressure comes in. When other people's money and dreams get involved, that's where, which
right.
having, having a small cast, a very small cast,
Yes.
and you are the main person, I think that probably helps. Cause even other actors, you feel the pressure of like, this is, you're looking at me like this might be your big break. And I don't know if I can offer that to you,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Like I just
Um, yeah.
right.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was good. And the other person I forgot to mention, Brandon Garcia. This guy, he was the I think assistant director or something. I don't even forget his term. I should, but like Joseph told me, oh, John Fitz's friend Brandon's gonna come on set. He's gonna help out. I'm like, oh, okay. Like whatever. I like throwing a little money, you know. He's like, oh, he said he'd do it for free. I'm like, oh. And
Yeah.
then he comes on set and he just ran the whole set to the point where like during the day, I don't know if this is kind of like wrong to say. In my brain, I'm like, I gotta give him out. I gotta give him more money. I gotta give him more, and I
Yeah.
did. But and at the end of the day, he was just running stuff, and I'm like, he was like fixing my laptop to get the movie onto my laptop or the thing, like just doing all this stuff at 2. And I'm like, Brandon, you just like ran around all day. What do you? He goes, I'm an operator. He's like, I love this stuff. And
Wow.
I'm like, and he took so much like stuff off Joseph's mind. And I to the point where I was like telling my family, like, this guy Brandon Garcia, he came on set, did all this stuff like 3 months. I told my friends, like my sisters,
Oh my
and but his normal job is working on sets like all the time, like music videos, fashion sets, and just running
God.
stuff. So I had someone like that who did
Yeah.
that, like, oh, I'll go help out this guy David and blah blah blah. He didn't even know me. So when you have people like that on set, that's why when it looks so good,
Yeah.
sounds arrogant, but it's because of like really it's because of them because they just worked
Yeah.
it.
Having an assistant director is the best because that job is like there's no glory in that job and they do so much work.
I know. I mean, I don't even know if he didn't even read the script. I don't think anyone read the script on set except for John. Maybe the other crew like flipped the crew like flipped through it. They have too much shit
Don't you
going on.
love that?
Like read. I mean, maybe they did. But like they just they I always see their Instagram. They're all working all the time. Like my
Yeah.
one like advice to anyone who watches is just like go on my Instagram, look at the crew, people who are
Mhm.
tagging that, and find them and like bug them a lot.
I love that.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. So they were all people that Joseph brought in.
yeah. I didn't know any.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and they just like okay, let's do it, and
That's
they
awesome.
did that. I know,
That's
I know.
awesome.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my,
why I'm pissed. Joseph hasn't gotten one for best director yet. I'm like, you realize how much he did? You
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Wow. I feel like I always think it's weird when films are nominated for best film and the director is not nominated as well.
We
Like
get nominated. Yeah,
that
I got
happens.
nominated for best actor, and I'm like, how come not best film? Like what? But who knows? It's all you know.
Yeah.
I can't say too much.
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows how any of that really gets done.
Yeah.
So do you have any more that are scheduled this year that are all that you're not waiting to hear back from, but festivals that you're going to?
No, not yet. We're waiting to hear back. I think from about 20. So one of those will probably pop off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's so exciting. Has it like, I don't know, what is that like the festival run? I know you've said like going to different places and that's cool, but just like there have been some that you haven't gone to and like
Yeah.
you just keep it's like how frequently is it? I feel like it's like once a month.
Um, I don't know. Like it's been I counted, I think there's been 19 so far in the past year.
Gosh.
So it's been cool, yeah.
Uh,
And like it's mostly just like I get stressed. I don't care how good the reception's been. I always right before it plays, I'm like, what was I thinking? Why did I do this? It's like when you do a play and you're just like, why did I invite a bunch of people come here to watch me like play
yeah.
pretend for an hour and a half? This is
Yeah.
ridiculous. So that's what I feel like. It's been good. You know what? Honestly, it's just nice to have something that doesn't suck. Like that's it.
It's
That doesn't suck. It's not like this grandiose amazing. It just doesn't suck, and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm good with that.
So
you know?
I guess you do get like the screening schedule. So even if you're not there, people are about to watch my movie.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll ask the festivals how it went. They're like, oh, it was fine, blah, blah, blah. But when we're in a festival in New York, there like a month before there was a festival in Catalina Island in Los Angeles, and a guy from we're at the festival at the Soho Festival. There, he's like, "Oh, I saw Johnny the Dime at Catalina. We were in the same block." I'm like, "Good. Like, how'd it go?" He's like, "Oh, good." I'm like, oh, "All right." So that's it. So yeah, every time it screens, I'm like on my phone and just like
Yeah.
looking at the time and just like, "What's happening? What's happening right now? Is there anyone even in the audience? Who knows?"
Yeah, I wonder if I don't know, like I guess there are pros and cons to being there in person. That's a big fear. I talked to Joe, we're like really close to being done with editing retreat. And he was like, I want to watch it with my friends. I want to like start showing people to get that kind of feedback. But he was like, I'm terrified to be in the room because if people don't laugh at jokes, and so
I I did that twice. I
yeah.
watched it like the first cut with my brother Chris in the car, and he like liked it. And then my sister and my nephew and my brother-in-law one time, they're like, "Oh, good." Like we didn't know it was gonna be a comedy, but like later they're like, "Oh, it was good." But like I'm like, I'm never doing this again. Like watching it in front of people, it's too. Don't do it, Joe. Just
It's a lot. We watched
too much
Retreat
pressure
with
on
my
everybody.
family on Christmas. And I was like, I just like need to know. I need to know now if there are things that I need to change because they're not reading.
Yeah,
And it was like the entire time I just like wanted to leave the room
it's
and it
all.
was awful. It's just
Yeah.
terrible. Jerry Seinfeld said that when they did he did B movie. I don't know if you ever saw that, the animated movie. I don't know with your
On
like
my list. Yeah.
nephews or anything. But he said that he was like, I'm never doing a movie again because with stand up, if the jokes are landing. With a movie,
Right.
you could work on something for years and not find out, and then you're sitting in the audience with people after like putting your blood, sweat, and tears into something for 4 years and no one is laughing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was when I
Terrible.
watched it in front of people, nobody laughed.
Oh my
Nobody.
gosh.
And I'm just like, but I knew it was fine, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh man. But they were the first cuts. The day after we shot, I watched footage and I'm like, I screwed up. I messed everything up. I didn't utilize the talent in the room. We missed this. I called up my sister, Cynthia, and then I talked to my best friend John. I think I cried a little bit. And I'm like, nothing, all pointless. All it was all doom and gloom. And Joseph's like, it's fine, David. You're fine. I'm like, oh, okay. But it
Yeah.
was like, I'm like, I just messed this all up.
It's so hard, especially when you're only seeing bits of it or you're seeing it unedited.
Yeah. I'm like, this
Then,
is stupid.
yeah, you're like, why does it look terrible?
Yeah.
Why does
Yeah.
it look like this? Why do I look dumb? Why does it sound like the whole thing
Yeah.
until it comes together? I feel like for us, when we added music, it was like it was feeling good. And then as soon as we added music, we were like, oh, it's a movie. Now it's a movie. Now it
Yeah.
feels right.
Yeah. We got the cut and I had them take out the music, Alex. And then I'm like, let's try without music. And then the next cut, they're just like, David, no, I'm putting music back in. I'm like, we don't need music. The cool thing about that was working with Alex McElvey is he just had his Instagram sold me because he's such a goofball. And like, um, if we didn't, Joseph and I didn't know where to go, we just deferred to him. Like, Alex, what about this little cut? He goes, nah, we're gonna do it this way. This is better. Trust me. This always like gets a chuckle or a laugh.
Wow.
So yeah,
Does he edit a lot of comedy? Like, is that
Alex, he like does these like TikTok and Instagram videos of himself like making fun of himself and like being like some weird boyfriend or something.
oh
But
my,
he edits like commercials. He's an actor.
wow.
He just his Instagram is like Alex McElvey, and he's just like this goofball, and he's funny.
Yeah,
So, but he's great editor. I think he just has a natural knack for it. He just gets it. Like
that's awesome.
yeah, that was really great.
Wow. Wow, it's so cool to hear it, like just how everything. came together with the crew and having those people and being able to like give your trust over to people, because that's another big thing, like not knowing anyone and then handing
Yeah.
over your baby, and then also trusting them to like be gentle with you and respectful with you as an actor,
Mhm.
like that whole thing of, you know, being on set, the person that wrote it, the person that the reason that everyone's there, even if you weren't the
Yeah.
person that called everyone there. And then to also have to step into the actor, that's kind of a juggling act, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, the hardest thing was getting like everything to the apartment. That's the other thing. We got the apartment because my best friend's cousin's coworker was out of town during COVID. He's like, yeah, they can use my apartment
Wow.
for free. He's still finding like glitter in there, I think, last time I heard. So like it was this big ass apartment. And like I don't even want people using my bathroom. Like, and he's just like, yeah, use my apartment for like the whole
Oh my
weekend if you want.
gosh.
I know. So he like let us use it. And but the thing is, DPs kind of scare me. They're always like, I don't know what they're thinking. They're always
Yeah.
thinking about the shot, very technical. But John was like, he's like this teddy bear of a guy. He was so nice. And
Oh,
so like he made it a very like I'm like, oh, okay. Like I like he's a very like he was very smart, but a very approachable personality. So like he would like laugh at stuff. He was like, there. He liked the script.
yeah.
So that was
That helps.
it helps because DPs,
Yeah.
yeah, they just scare me. They're just so severe, you know?
They're always thinking like 10 shots ahead, and they're looking around, and you are like,
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
looking at me? I'm kind of a prop to you right now because you're just trying to figure out the
I
shot.
know. I
And
know. I know. And they're looking,
yeah.
yeah. The hardest thing was like getting everything in the apartment, getting the food and all that stuff. And but Joseph took care, like, I was like, all right, I'll order lunch for everybody. He's like, you're gonna have too much on your mind. I'm gonna order lunch. Trust me, I've made that mistake before. So there's like a lot of examples like that that
Yeah.
just led to being like, oh, this actually went okay, you know? Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we have 2.5 minutes left.
Oh God.
I
Forgot to turn on my ring light.
oh my gosh, you look great. What I have two questions. You have 2.5 minutes. You have 2 minutes to answer. Who are your filmmaking role models or creative role models, actor, writer, whoever? And what is your favorite movie? One of your favorite movies.
Well, one of my favorite. I already said Dumb and Dumber. I'll say
Yeah.
Lawrence of Arabia, the really old version, the 4 hour version.
Oh,
I
I have
love
not seen
that
that.
movie. Yeah, that's
Okay.
one. Major Pain with I think Damon Wayans. Have you ever? I love that. I think about that movie. I'm like that character to do that, like the stuff like that is what I want
Yeah.
to do. Like, and it was for kids. So all these kids, I watched it like 20 years ago. My
Yeah.
still, um, inspiration wise, yeah, I don't even filmmaker. I mean, I don't know a lot of filmmakers. I don't know a lot of people.
Actors. Is there anyone that you're like, I want
I
to see
like the
that what that
Coen brothers, like the movie "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
mm,
Steve Buscemi in some of those weird roles.
yeah.
I like that. Tom Hardy, I think, is probably like my favorite right now.
Okay.
He plays those characters. That movie Bronson,
Have you watched
and
Peaky Blinders?
no, I haven't gotten into that yet. I know, like, I'll like it.
Yeah.
I just, I
Thank you.
mean,
Yeah, I think you would like it. Tom Hardy's in that, and he's like, yeah, he does. I think his character work is underappreciated or under acknowledged, but he does
yeah,
do
like
crazy
in The
characters.
Revenant, I'm like, that's
Yeah.
great. He played some guy with a scalped head.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen True Detective season one?
I have not seen True Detectives.
You have HBO.
Yeah.
But I've seen it 4 times.
It's on
Ask Tessa
my
about it.
I'm working through my list. I just started Barry. I don't know if
Oh,
you've
that's
watched.
good.
It's funny. Joe
Yeah,
Joe convinced me to finally watch that next. So,
it's a good one.
oh my goodness. Well, we have less than a minute, so I'm worried it's going to cut us off at any time. And I
Okay.
just want to say thank you so much. I really
Thanks,
appreciate
Grace.
that
This is so
so
cool. I'm so
much.
flattered. I'm like, this is great. I've never been interviewed before.
Well, I think people have a lot that they could learn from you. And truly, I tell